name is Hannah Rubenstahl, and I am designing for Cat Scrappiness today. Today I'm going to show you how I created this fall shaker card featuring several dies that Cat Scrappiness produces, including these lovely sequins in here. You can see. To start with, I am using the largest of the stitched scallop nesting tags. You can see here they come in 1, 2, 3, 4 different sizes. That's going to be the largest outermost feature of my card. I'm also going to use one of the middle-sized of these squares from the Never Ending Square dies. That'll cut out the hole in the middle of my tag right here. I have gone ahead and pre-cut a bunch of stuff. I haven't done all the work, don't fret. To start with, I have the base fabric. You can see it's right here. This is from the Echo Park A Perfect Autumn paper pack, 6x6 paper pack. You can get this in the Cat Scrappiness store. I also cut out, let's see, this little tag shape from the same paper pack. It is one of the falling leaf ones from Echo Park. That's going to go here. And then there is a layer of foam right here, fun foam, which is a lot less expensive to use than mounting tape. We will be using that. I will cut a hole in the center of that. I also have a sheet of acetate that I also cut using the same stitched scalloped nesting die. I have also gone ahead and pre-colored these cute little chipmunks from Gerder Steiner Designs. This is the Happy Fall stamp set. Again, it is also available on the Cat Scrappiness website. And we are going to make our outside paper on our own using this Cardabella stencil. It's called Pumpkin Stencil. Again, it is also available on the Cat Scrappiness website. All of this stuff is super easy to purchase, super easy to acquire. So we're going to go ahead and get started. To start with, I'm going to take my 5.25 by 4.25 piece of paper. This is going to be trimmed down with the stencil, so I can go ahead and tape it out to hold it steady. Ooh, maybe not that much. Let's get some of that off of there. A little crazy. There we go. Tape down my stencil. So it does not move. And I'm going to go ahead and use 2 different distress inks on my thing. You can see here we have a lighter orangish color and a darker orangish color. And I'm going to use both the mustard seed distress ink and the spice marmalade distress ink for that. And I'm going to use my Ranger blending tool. However, with stencils, I really like the look of the Clarity brushes. I highly suggest you acquire those from the Cat Scrappiness store. They are fabulous. So, now that I have all that done, I'm going to go ahead and tape this down and run this through my die cutting machine real fast. So I'm going to pause the video and I will be right back. All right, I'm back again. I die cut this little pumpkin guy out using the largest of the stitched scalloped nesting dies. And I am going to go ahead and die cut the square out of the center of these so that they are in exactly the same spot. I have the piece of paper that I had just made and I had my fun foam. So I'm going to stick that there, line them up. I'm going to place one of the middle squares that I already chose. And I have some tape, which I'm going to de-stickify a little bit. Get this all centered up and super duper nice. Try to center align everything. So I am trying to stick this in the center between these two edges and also the invisible straight line here and this visible stitched line towards the bottom. I want it equidistant from all parts. Get this more stuck in the center again. I mean, there's so much going on the card that nobody's going to notice if you're a little bit off. I'm going to go ahead and stick it in here. Sometimes I have an issue with my tape pulling up the paper. So since I'm not going to use the inside of this square, I'm going to go ahead and lay my tape down if you're anything like me. I'm going to go run just these two layers together through my die cutting machine. And again, I will be right back. All right, I am back. I die cut through those two layers, and despite how well I lined everything up, you can still see the edges of the fun foam. I knew that was going to happen. It happened on my previous one. So I am just going to go ahead and take some little scissors, and I'm going to trim out that fun foam along the outside of the fun foam area. Just a teeny bit, because you can see these are fairly narrow in their width. So I don't need to worry about that little opening hole. I'll be cutting around that here soon too. All I'm going to do, the stitching on these nesting dies make it really great template to cut along. I'm going to cut along 3 sides along that stitching. The back side I just cut off a bit, just a random amount, because I don't really want it to be seen. But a little bit of it will be seen, which is why I chose orange, a complementary color to what the rest of the card is going to have. Just don't want to pick bright green or something like that. I'm going to trim off a teeny bit more here. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and cut out around here too. I will not be needing that, and I'll show you why in a few moments, why I'm going ahead and doing this. There we go. Before I glue these, I almost forgot my sentiment. So I'm taking my Tim Holtz Stamping Positioning Guide. Ooh, wasn't sure I was going to clear my camera there. I don't really need the magnets all the time. I'm going to take the Happy Fall sentiment out of this Happy Fall stamp set from Gerder Steiner Designs. Take it off, and then I printed off a sheet of acetate with a grid on it. And I am just going to eyeball the center of everything. I'm just going to stick that down just for giggles. Pick up that stamp. Whoop! None of that held. And then I'm going to go ahead and stamp using Memento Tuxedo Black on this sheet of acetate. And because I'm doing on acetate, I'm not doing it on my final project yet. I'll be able to see how everything aligns up. I feel like it needs to move south just a hair. So I can go ahead and wipe it off my acetate. Clean off my stamp. And then I can reposition. Okay, I'm happy with that. Now, I got a position that I'm very, very happy with. Remove the acetate. No need, I'll clean the acetate off later. No need to clean my stamp off because I'm just going to re-ink it after I make sure that is nestled in. Stamp it down. There we go. Clean my stamp off a little bit. I'll do a better job later off camera. Now, using some multi-matte medium from Ranger, I'm going to glue my adhesive down on this, not on the fun foam. Dude, don't mess up. I'm going to glue it down and stick my acetate that I pre-cut out. Actually, first, I'm going to cut around the stitching on the acetate too. I don't want a whole lot of it to be seen. I don't want it to be seen off the edge of the thing. Again, this top edge doesn't really matter as much, but for the other 3 edges, I'm going to go around the stitching. Stitching is a fabulous guide. And I can trim this a little bit more later too. Oop. A little bit of showing. And then I'm going to just cut out this little notchy area again. No big deal as to where it goes, as long as I don't cut too far down into the acetate. There we go. So, I'm going to glue that down. Don't worry, this will all line up better. And once that is secure, I am going to glue this down. All right, I'm going to go ahead and glue this, cut away, and I'll be right back when all of this is secured. Okay, we're back. I have my 3 pieces glued together. Now I almost made a mistake. I almost glued my acetate to my fun foam. My mistake is that the fun foam is so flexible that it can manipulate the shape somewhat. And I realized this just as I was gluing everything down. So I reassessed my situation and I glued, which is what I did on the original card, I glued my acetate straight to my cardstock, the cardstock that we had colored with the pumpkins. And this allows everything to be super rigid. Once that was down a little bit, then I glued my fun foam to it and I could push the edges out somewhat so that I can make sure it's not covered. You can see here's my little notch that I had cut. I can see, it's really hard to see, the edge of the acetate and the edge of my fun foam. I did accidentally get a glob of glue right here, but I'm going to be covering that with Little Chipmunk, so I am not worried. So next what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my sequins. I'm using the Autumn Harvest sequins from Cat Scrappiness. There are a lot of really cute jack-o'-lanterns and pumpkins in this set. There are none, I mean there's pumpkins, but there's no jack-o'-lanterns in what I'm doing. So I'm just going to remove those cute little guys and save them for another project. And I'm going to scatter my sequins about, picking and choosing ones that I like for this little thing. One of the problems that tends to happen with shaker cards is it's really easy to put in too many. So hopefully I don't do that. Here's another cute little pumpkin that or jack-o'-lantern that we're going to remove. Look how cute he is. And I'm going to go ahead and just stick down what I use. I love these beads that are in here. There are also cupped sequins and flat sequins. Uh-oh, got a little pumpkin sneaking in here. All right, we're going to go ahead and live with that. I'm going to scooch everything over here. I'll pick them up later. And I'm going to go ahead and glue along the edge with my Ranger Multi Matte Medium and stick it down on my cardstock. And I am going to do it off screen because my little needle is clogged. Hold on. All right. So hopefully the glue is dry. I have my background piece, the leaves, glued onto the fun foam with the acetate as a little sandwich, skinny or middle bobber, and then our outside piece of paper that we made. You can see here. I was careful when I put them together to line up the scallops because I did not cut the scallops off here. You absolutely could if you wanted. I chose not to. I have not cut out the notch here, and I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And you're going to see why here in a minute. I have selected 3 strands of embroidery floss. I used gold. You can use whatever color you want. And I'm going to feed it through my hole. And this is why I cut all those layers off, because feeding it through the hole with the layers proved to be virtually impossible. Whoop, get back here, little guy. You know what? Let's try that over again. Second verse, same as the first, but this time not like a goofball. So I'm going to feed it through all of my various pieces. Lift in through here. Snug that down nice and tight. Not too tight, you don't want to hurt the paper. And then split them in half again and make a little bow. I'm actually going to make my bow down here. There we go. Give a little tie. And then make my little bows pretty. I have a lot of excess here that I can play with. I did not measure out how big I made these embroidery floss bits. I just wanted to make sure that I had plenty to play with. Okay, when you've got a bow that you're happy with, go ahead and cut off your bits. You can leave these strands together as they are, or you can do what I did here. I separated those bits of embroidery floss. I am going to set that aside for now and start building my card base. I have some Nina Solar White in 110 pound, excuse me. And I'm going to take my tape runner and just run you can use any adhesive that you happen to have. I just like anything that's super easy and fast. Line this up. I did not cut that straight. Cut that off. Well, guess what we're going to do? A little crafting on the fly here. Cut that nice and straight. So I make mistakes when I craft, and this is one of them. There we go. I'm going to stick this down in a way that pleases me. I should have used a paper trimmer for that. You can go ahead and use their same tape runner on this. Just be careful if you do that, because you do not have a solid surface. You have an empty hollow hole right there that you want to be careful of. But this will keep everything together if you're careful. Again, any adhesive that you like to use works. And I am sticking this in a fun, off-kilter sort of way. There we go. Happy fall! And then I have my cute little guys that I made. I'm going to use my now disappeared, there it is, multi-matte medium. And I'm going to glue them down. Now this little guy I'm going to be a little bit careful with because I have that glue blob on my acetate that I'm going to hide. Sticking some glue anywhere where I feel like it might need it. A teeny bit on the branches. This little guy had gotten clogged earlier. All I did was take an embroidery needle and fish it through and poke out my hole. He goes upside down and he goes over my glue blob. Phones and ink pads work absolutely wonderful to weight an object down when you're waiting for the glue to dry. He is going to go right here. And there you have it. Let's stick a little bit more glue right here at the end of this little guy. I will obviously weight this down before it's officially done, but all I have to do is let the glue dry. And there is the card. So I will weight that down. This is the card that we recreated. Again, we used the Never Ending square dies by Cat Scrappiness. Love them. We also used the stitched scalloped nesting tags. Right here we used the largest one. We used the Cartabella pumpkin stencil. Ooh. That you can get at Cat Scrappiness. We used the Echo Park 6x6 paper pad called A Perfect Autumn, also available in Cat's store. We used the Happy Fall stamp set by Gerder Steiner Designs. And last but not least, we used the Autumn Harvest sequin set from Cat Scrappiness with those beautiful bright sequins. And here we go. There are my two cards. This one needs to be weighted down a little bit more. I hope that I have inspired you. I hope that you found a little bit of creativity in this card. Visit Cat Scrappiness, pick up your supplies to recreate this card. It was super easy. Just remember to do the acetate to the piece of paper. And I hope you have a great day. Bye.